Hello everyone and welcome to the Kiki London YouTube channel. My name's Amanda and in today's video we are going to be doing a New Year's Eve nail art design. So I really hope you all enjoy watching. Now to start off, we are working on some display tips. So if you were doing this set on real nails, you would need to do your prep and base coat before coming in with your colours. And for today's colours, our bases are going to be Mystic Noir, which is such a gorgeous glittery or shimmery black. And then we're going to be using the beautiful Tea Rose. I love a nude and black set for New Year's Eve, and we're also going to be adding a lot of gold nail art into this set of nails as well. We're going to be using foils, blooming gel and some crystals as well. So it's a very heavy nail art design, but I feel as though it's very salon friendly, very beginner friendly as well. So I hope you all enjoy watching. Starting off, I'm going to apply the Tea Rose on the little finger and the middle finger. And then we're going to come in with the Mystic Noir on the rest of the nails. Now Mystic Noir is a beautiful black gel polish. Going on here, it's a little bit hard to see the very fine shimmer that it has in it, but once I have applied it to all of the nails, I will bring them a little bit closer so you can see those shimmery sparkles. And I just love it if you want a black nail design with something a little bit extra. It is also a very popular color as well. It looks beautiful on its own without all of the nail art, but I love it as a base for nail art as well. So here you can slightly see that shimmer in the first coat. On this set of nails, I am going to do 2 coats of all of the colours. So we're going to come in first of all and do our second coat of Tea Rose. Tea Rose has to be one of my go-to nude shades. It's a very classic nude and I feel as though it pairs beautifully with lots of colours, but I do love it as a contrast for the black. Now, when I'm applying my gel polish layers, we're applying them nice and thin. I apply my first coat super thin and then I kind of float my second coat on a little bit. And when you apply that second coat, that's when you're going to get the full coverage and opacity of the shades. Now, Mystic Noir is very pigmented, so you sometimes, or you might not necessarily feel you need 2 coats, but I do like to apply it in 2 coats just to get that full-on shimmery effect. Because it's a black gel polish and very highly pigmented, you don't want to be applying the layers thickly because this can affect curing. Any kind of black or very dark colors, if they're applied too thickly, when you put them in your lamp, you might find that the gel polish wrinkles, and this is just a classic sign that you've applied it too thick. So make sure you're keeping your layers nice and thin. And here you can really see the shimmers in this color. It's one of my favorites, especially for winter. It's absolutely beautiful. So we're going to pop those in to cure for 30 seconds and that's our bases finished. I would wear these on their own, like these 2 colors, without any nail art, but of course we've got to come in and give these a full-on nail art finish. So starting off, we're going to be using foils. So of course, to apply your foils, you need your Kiki London foil gel. This foil gel is amazing. I get full coverage with whatever foil I have tried as long as I apply my foil gel correctly. So to apply it correctly, you want to make sure that you're applying a nice thin even layer of it to the entire nail. You don't want to apply it too thickly as then it might not cure sufficiently, but once you have applied it to the nail, you want to pop that in to cure for 30 seconds, and whilst that's curing, we're going to choose our foils. So here I have the Festive Gold Mix foils, and I went for this one out of this pack because I felt as though this kind of looked a little bit like fireworks. It gave off either a snowflake or firework vibe, but I'm going to see it as fireworks for this set of nails, which of course work beautifully for New Year's Eve. So we're going to cut out a piece of that foil and I want to fully cover this nail. So I'm going to lay it down, focusing on the center of the nail. I smooth it out down the center to make sure it has stuck down well to the foil gel. Basically, the foil gel, once it's cured, but it comes out of the lamp with a very tacky layer. This is going to grab onto your foil and remove that image and place it down onto the nail. So we're giving it a good rub with the silicone tool and my fingers and thumb, and then we slowly peel that foil off and just look how perfect it's transferred. Over the dark now at the moment, it's a little tricky to see the image, but you can see there on the foil, it has fully transferred. It's removed every single part of that image. I absolutely love how this looks. It pops a little bit more once we come in and top coat. On to the next nail, I want to only add the foil to a section of the nail. So what we're going to do first of all is remove the tacky layer. This is because the foil will still stick a little bit to the tacky inhibition layer that's left from your gel polish. So if you don't want that foil to stick over the entire nail, make sure you remove that tacky layer using one of the alcohol wipes. And then taking my foil gel, I'm just going to sweep this across the nail. So I'm applying it the same as I do when I'm doing a full cover nail, except for we're just applying it to a small section of the nail. I'm going to take my stripe liner brush just to make sure that that line is nice and neat, because I want to get a nice crisp sweep of this foil across the nail. And when you are applying your foil gel, you want to make sure that you're getting it along the side walls of your nail as well. You want to make sure that everywhere you want your foil to cover, you have got that foil gel down, and you want to make sure it's nice and even and thin, like I said as well. And then we're going to pop that in to cure for 30 seconds. And same again, when that comes out the lamp, it's got this super tacky finish. So I'm going to position my foil, focus on that center part where the foil is going to hit. Then I just give it a quick rub with my finger to make sure it's stuck down. And then I swap to my silicone tool, because the silicone tool makes it a lot easier for getting out any creases. Then I like to go over the foil once again with my thumb and fingers, just focusing on those side walls. And then I slowly start peeling back, because if you slowly peel back, you'll see there was a little part of the image that hadn't transferred. So I can lay it back down and give it another rub. And then I'm going to peel it off again. And as you can see, once again, it has fully transferred. This foil does pop a little bit more over the lighter base, but I did still love it over the darker base as well. So that's our foil nails finished. We've just got to come in and top coat, which we'll do at the end of the design. Moving on to the next nail, I had to include a marble. So we're going to take our Kiki London blooming gel, and I'm going to apply this to the entire nail, because we're going to have this marble kind of sweeping all across the nail, but it's not going to be fully covering the nail. But to get that pretty blooming gel effect, I'm going to apply it to the entire nail. You want to make sure that, again, you're applying this fairly thin and nice and evenly, so don't be scared to rub over it a little bit, just to make sure that you've applied it to the entire nail and you're happy with how it's covered. And then for my marble, I'm going to take Black Heart, which is the flat black colour from Kiki London, so it has no shimmer in it like the Mystic Noir. I'm also going to take the tea rose that we used on the other two nails, and then I'm going to come in with some glitter. So we're going to be using the beautiful champagne spritz in this marble as well. So I've popped those three colours down on my palette so they're touching, and then I'm going to take the dotting tool end of my gem and dotting tool and swirl these together on my palette. So you can see I'm really carefully pulling through these, because the black is very pigmented and I don't want to take too much of that into the other two colours, because it will overpower them. And then I'm going to take my angled nail art brush, and I'm going to use this to lift that marble off the palette and place it down into the wet blooming gel. And as you can see, I'm very gently placing it down. You don't want to play about with it too much. You don't want to swirl it around too much. If you've already created your marble on the palette, you're simply just transferring that from the palette to the blooming gel. And because the blooming gel is wet, it will kind of pull it off of your brush anyway. So you don't have to be too heavy-handed. You want to use quite nice, gentle strokes. And then what I like to do is, using the tip of my angled nail art brush, just nudge it around here and there, any areas where I want to kind of play around with the marble effect. And this is why I now like picking my marble up using that angled nail art brush, because it has that pointed tip. It's brilliant if you want to just mess about with your marble for a little while. Now the Kiki London blooming gel does only require a 30-second cure, but I cured it for 60 seconds here, just because I placed my marble down a little bit thickly and I wanted to make sure it had fully cured. How gorgeous did it look, by the way? I loved it. It kind of had this smoky galaxy vibe to it, which I really liked. Now that we have cured the marble, I do want to come in and add some of the 24K gold flake top coat. I'm going to be using the gold flake top coat for a glitter fade in one of the other nails. So I wanted to incorporate it into this nail as well, just so it flowed across the set. So instead of using it as a top coat here, I'm using it for nail art purposes. So I'm popping some of it down onto my palette, and then using my stripe liner brush, I'm just picking up some of the small gold flake particles and placing them down onto the nail. I'm kind of using it like you would a gold leaf, but it is a lot easier than gold leaf. Gold leaf can be a little bit fiddly, it can stick to your tweezers or your brush, whatever you're trying to apply it with. But with the 24K flake top coat, you get a very similar effect, but with a lot easier to apply. So once I just kind of swirled that through my marble, I then popped it into cure for 60 seconds and it just added a little bit of an extra dimension to that marble now. I really loved how it turned out. So as I mentioned, I did also want to use the 24K flake top coat on one of my other nails. And like I said, again, we're not using it for a top coat purpose, we're using it for nail art purposes. So on this nail, I actually want to do a glitter fade. And usually when I do a glitter fade, I'll apply my base coat halfway down the nail and then come in with whatever glitter I'm using at the tip of the nail. But I found it a lot easier recently to use the blooming gel because it really helps soften the fade between your colour and the glitter. Just because the glitter, in this case the 24K flake top coat, it kind of melts into the blooming gel and it creates a really subtle ombre. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my ombre brush, I'm picking up that 24K top coat, placing it down at the very tip of the nail, and I'm not creating my fade just yet. At this step, I'm trying to get as much coverage on that tip of the nail because obviously that's where we want the most of the 24K flake top coat to be. And then I'm going to slowly start blending it down as we're working it down the nail. So I'm just nudging it in to that blooming gel. And what happens is the blooming gel doesn't bloom necessarily, but it helps float those 24K particles around a little bit and creates a really nice soft blend. So if you usually do your glitter fades with a base coat, give it a go with the blooming gel and see if you find it any easier, because I certainly have. Sometimes when you're doing a glitter fade, it can be hard to get your glitter particles to fade out into a nice soft fade, and the blooming gel just makes that a lot easier. And just how sparkly and beautiful does this look, and as you can see, it's really subtly faded out. So once we're happy with that glitter fade, we're going to pop this in to cure for 60 seconds because the 24K flake top coat does require a 60-second cure. And of course we do still need to fully top coat this nail because we've not applied that 24K flake to the entire nail. On to the final now, we're going to be using the Topaz Raise crystals, and to apply them I'm going to be using my Noir rubber top coat. So I'm going to apply my Noir rubber top coat to the entire nail because this is going to have two benefits. It's going to top coat and seal in our gel polish, and then we're going to set our crystals into that top coat. So what you want to do is leave your top coat wet, apply your crystals into the wet top coat, and then pop them in to cure. So as you can see, I've popped my Topaz Raise crystals onto a little palette, and then I've got some caviar beads there as well. Now I did lose the footage of applying the first 3 crystals. I'm not sure what happened. It just was, the file was corrupted and I had to cut that bit out. But all I've basically done is popped down a crystal, then 2 caviar beads, then come in and applied my next crystal. And because you're applying them down into the wet top coat, you're able to nudge them around until you're happy with it. You can play about with your crystal design as much as you want to, and it's not going to set in place until you pop it in to cure. So I'm just working back from the center. So I've popped my center crystal down, 2 caviar beads, and then moved on to the next crystal until we get to the edge of the nail. And it is a very simple crystal design. It's just a simple stripe across the nail. You could make this a lot more fancy by doing several stripes down the nail, but crystal placement does take a little bit of time. You know, you need to spend a bit of time designing it on the nail and nudging those crystals into place. And because the video was already quite long, I didn't want to leave too much of a longer crystal design in the video. But if you would like to see more crystal designs, please do let me know in the comments below, and I certainly can include a few more of them in videos. I like adding in the caviar beads to break up the crystals because I feel as though it gives off a kind of jeweled effect a little bit more. But if you don't have caviar beads, you could recreate this using the smaller crystals in the packs as well. So once we've finished doing that, I'm going to pop that in for 60 seconds to cure, and that's actually that now finished because we have already top coated. And all that's left now is to top coat the remaining 4 nails that haven't yet been top coated. And I'm going to be using my Noir rubber top coat for these nails as well. So whilst I'm doing that, I really quickly wanted to mention that currently on the Kiki London website, there is a festive clearance sale with many items up to 30% off. So as always, the Kiki London link or the website link is in the description box below. So do head on over to the website and check that out. You can grab yourself a bargain. And also, as obviously this is the last video before Christmas, I wanted to wish you all a very merry Kiki Christmas. I hope you all have an amazing festive season. I will have a video still up next Friday, which is 2 days before New Year's Eve. So let me know if you have any ideas that you would like to see for that video. I was thinking of maybe a 2023 inspired set or maybe another New Year's Eve design. So let me know what you think in the comments below. I really hope you've all enjoyed today's video. I also really quickly want to apologize for the dodgy voice. Of course, I had to pick up a cold a couple of days before Christmas, but I hope it's still been a fun video to watch. If you did enjoy this video, please do give it a thumbs up and leave us a comment below, and don't forget to hit that subscription button if you haven't already. So here we have the finished design, and I really loved how they all looked. I really love the yellow gold effect that's running across all of the nails, and they are definitely very full on nail art, but they're definitely a set of nails that I would wear myself. So I hope you all enjoyed watching them. For those of you who did watch, thank you so very much. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Lots of love. Take care. Bye bye.